Elon Musk, venture capitalist Fred Wilson, Comcast chairman and CEO Brian Roberts, BlackRock co-founder Rob Kapito, Warby Parker co-founders Neil Blumenthal and Dave Gilboa, even at one point Warren Buffett. They're just some of today's industry leaders who got a business education at Wharton. The school's dean, Geoffrey Garrett, is with us now. Jeff, good morning to you. Let's talk about the value of an MBA in the today's economy, let's say. How do you prove that an MBA is worth as much, let's say, as it was a decade ago?
Well, it's a very good question, of course, and one that all our students ask. And I think the answer is that the proof's in the pudding. Our students are getting spectacularly good jobs at very high rates, and that's not bad. You know, if you look at the MBA marketplace, I think you see a lot of schools now having to think much more about convenience, you know, part-time evening programs maybe moving online. But for a school like Wharton, I think the face-to-face experience actually is getting more valuable, not less.
But what are those spectacular jobs? Traditionally, people viewed Wharton as the gateway to Wall Street. Is that still the case, and is that what your students really want?
Well, you know, we still do pretty well on Wall Street, certainly, you know, in Goldman and places like that, also in hedge funds and private equity. In a lot of ways, Wharton really invented those industries. But I think if you look at the profile of our exiting MBAs at the moment, it's very interesting. About 1/3 go into financial services, but broadly construed, about another third go into technology and startups. And I think that tells us a lot about the trajectory of the economy.
Does it hurt Wharton that so many students really want to go into technology? It traditionally isn't the school that breeds that. So are you losing some of the top candidates to, let's say, Stanford?
Well, you know, Stanford's a very good place, and Stanford, of course, happens to be right next door to Silicon Valley, so that helps them. But, you know, we have a fantastic facility in downtown San Francisco, just under the Bay Bridge, and south of Market in San Francisco is a booming tech hub. I think if you look on campus, of course, it's true that Wharton's known as the finance school. I see the sign every day when I go into my office. But if you look under the hood a little bit, we have an amazing range of innovation and entrepreneurship activities on campus, and I think our students understand that they get incredible and broad-based value from our education, where the #1 attribute of Wharton is analytics. We take data really seriously, we take its analysis really seriously, and if we're entering a big data era, then a Wharton education looks pretty good.
Jeff, back in 2007, the year before the crash, 48% of Wharton grads went into got jobs in finance. Today that's down to 35%. What's the more ideal number for you?
Well, I don't think we have an ideal number. You know, we believe a lot in market forces, and the market is speaking at the moment. And as I said, I think having a really nice balance between finance and technology is a good place for us to be. And I haven't even used the word entrepreneurship yet. You know, we tend to think about entrepreneurship as basically being something that happens in a startup in the Bay Area. But what we know from Wharton alums, some of whom you mentioned, is that there's been incredible entrepreneurship in the financial services sector in the last decade or so, and Wharton alums have been really heavily involved in that.
What percentage of your students are women?
At the MBA class, one thing I should remind everybody is that Wharton's really unusual among our peers in that we've got 2,500 undergraduates, and I think it's fair to say that our undergraduate business program's the best in the world. But if you look at MBA, we have a little over 40% of our entering class are female, and that's also true at the undergraduate level, and I think that looks pretty good among our peers, actually.
Let's talk for a moment about some of the other industries. Finance remains huge. Consulting still, you know, the destination for 26% of Wharton grads. And then technology is up to 14%, Jeff. But after that, it tapers off pretty dramatically. Healthcare, only 6% of your graduates. Media, 2.4%. Manufacturing, less than 2%. How come there isn't more diversity in the destinations for Wharton grads in terms of the sheer numbers, because the percentages speak for themselves?
Well, of course, it really depends how you measure stuff. The number you used there for technology, which I'm sure is one of ours, was 14. But if you have a broader definition of technology, startups, entrepreneurship, we get up to about 1/3, and 1/3 financial services, as I said. You also had a small number in media and entertainment. But when I think about the media and entertainment, I think about analytics.
Sorry, we're out of time. That's Geoffrey Garrett. He's the dean of the Wharton School.